Richard Spencer, former Secretary of the Navy, joins me now. Mr. Secretary, it's great to have you on. We just talked a little bit about corporate strategy where China is concerned for multinational CEOs and the domestic picture as it is on the ground. Talk to me a little bit about the relationship between the U.S. and China, where national security is concerned, where trade is concerned, and what it means given the fact that there's a lot of focus on this balloon, but given the fact that the tensions are very taut these days.
Yeah, Morgan, great to be on. Thank you for the invite. You know, China is probably the front and center relationship that we are going to have to invest the time and continue to hone our skills on how to deal with that entity. And what I mean by that, it's a whole of government approach we must take. You know, it's not just state and DOD, it's commerce, it's agriculture, it's education, it's energy, and it has to be coordinated with the private sector and our allies. This is all hands on deck because there is opportunity. I get it from Wall Street side of the equation, from commerce side of the equation. There's tremendous opportunity over there. But on a national security front, there's quite a big threat. And it's two Chinas. One person's opportunity is another man's threat. So it's going to take all hands on deck because it's too important. It's our largest trading partner. But yet what they're doing to the national security scale in this around the globe is really concerning.
So let's dig into that a little bit more, because as the DOD would put it, it's this near peer competition. It's a pacing threat. What does that mean as it relates back to technology? I think about the export controls that were just put into place between the two countries a number of months ago. How does it speak to the way to think about this moving forward? Because I hear terms like a new Cold War or a tech Cold War, but that almost seems too black and white.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, we also use the word competition and competitor when we talk about China. And I am actually of the camp that it is time to compete, and we'll compete with all the tools we have. We haven't had a meaningful competition in quite some time. So I mean, game on, United States. You know, let's focus on STEM to compete one-on-one. Let's not just strangle, but let's build our own capabilities also. This goes to the national security front. Also, everyone says, okay, China's outproducing us in ships. Yes, ship count might be very important, but let's focus on capability, which is what we have an angle over China on right now. Again, it's going to be using every single lever we can in a competitive front to stay ahead.
A couple of years ago, I remember having a conversation with a CEO of a company that was a contractor to the Navy. And one of the things that I found so surprising was how tricky it was from an intellectual property standpoint to keep the technology safe, and how much hacking or attempts to hack had happened with this company where China was concerned, which goes back to the idea of a military threat and that intersection between business and national security. I don't think folks realize what exactly happens behind closed doors and how it feeds back into this military-civil fusion concept that is in China.
You just hit the nail on the head of one of the most meaningful aspects that people must understand. In China, the commercial side, which we might call the private side, is completely fused by admission to the military and security forces of China. You know, I think you and I talked about this, Morgan, earlier. We had an example, and I use this as how tricky the relationship must be managed. When I was at Navy, one of the things that we had in place was a thing called the Thrift Savings Plan. And this is a, think, 401k for our uniformed services and our civilian DOD employees, government employees. I was having a background in investments. I was looking through the TSP offering, and they wanted to, the board of trustees for the investment thesis for TSP wanted to offer all their participants global exposure for diversification of your portfolio. I totally get it. But they were looking at an index that was fairly good weighting into China, and we were looked into the holdings of what that weighting had. And there were 5 defense companies in China that were developing and manufacturing the weapons that would be firing upon our service members. And I said, this actually does not make sense. And it took us a while to actually wrestle that down to the ground and make sure that wouldn't happen. But these are the intricacies that you have in this relationship.
How does it speak to, because you are also the former CFO of ICE, which is the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange. How does it speak to some of the perhaps overlooked or not typically discussed risks about what it means to invest in China?
Well, we had the period which I call the wooing period, where we were wooing all these Chinese companies to come over here and list on our exchanges in the U.S. and access one of the most robust and deep capital markets in the globe. And we are providing exceptions for them to list on the exchange, exceptions that I never would have gotten as I was trying to list ICE on the exchange, exceptions that no U.S. or foreign company besides China would get as an exception. And yet we let them come on board. And we sat there and said, okay, you're trading on the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ whatsoever. Right there, you believe that the diligence has been done and the standards are held, but not so in the case of some of these securities that were being offered from China onto our exchanges. We're tightening the belt in that regard, but there's a long way to go.